Adventure hath no bound. Take it away, Dana.
So as many of you know, this week we tried something new, and it was an epic adventure. Not because per se the meeting was specific or anything really happened with the meeting, but it was truly the energy. But I'm going to come back to that. First, I want to go and explain to you guys a few things that I've learned over the past few months. Number one, planning is super important. When people think of planning and think of things when they're trying to get things done, I really want you to think that if you see an opportunity, take action. I've had lots of people talk to me and say, Dana, how do you get so much done? How do you do all these things with all your kids? How can you do this? And for me, really, it's if I think about it, if I'm working on it, I try to do it. As an example, someone's like, hey, we need to make a phone call. And before the end of that conversation, I'm like, oh, are you on the phone already? Yeah, just 1 second. Oh, perfect. And they realize, wow, like you just jumped on that. And I'm like, yeah, if I do it now, I'm going to remember it. And now it's in my mind. So when it came to Toastmasters, when I was introduced to Toastmasters by Alex Ann, she's like, hey, you should come to this. It'll teach you some things. You can learn to speak better, become a better leader. And I was like, okay. So I showed up, came to a few sessions, and really liked it and joined. And from there, I was able to jump right in where people were like, yeah, like here's the pathway and this is what you do. And I was like, okay, so it's kind of like a chapter book. You like read each chapter and you continue to go through. And at the end, you kind of get a check mark because you get things done. But over the past few months, as I've delved into it more, I actually realized that it's more of a choose your own adventure. And I'll explain that a little further. See, when we first started, I was a little nervous because there were so many people, so many things to do, and everything was kind of filled. So I was literally able to just step back and watch you all perform, watch you all do your duties and your roles. And I was like, oh, this is kind of awesome. But what I found was that I wasn't growing. I could see people growing, I could see what was happening, but I didn't know how to do anything, and I was nervous about it. So I came across this quote: for things to change, you have to change. For things to get better, you have to get better. For things to improve, you need to improve. When you grow, everything in your life grows with you. So when Misty came out and said, hey, we're trying to do hybrid meetings, I was like, hey, I'm right there. And I took that number one thing and I took action. Joelle did the same thing from Calgary. And so we were in a position where all of a sudden Misty was very excited to have some people on her team. Then a few months later, or within the month, Jill was like, hey, I have some property and maybe we could do an activity out here. And because I was already on my choose your adventure path and realized that I was originally on level 2 and then level 4, there was some projects and different things I could do. I was like, maybe I can combine these and put them all together. And all of a sudden it came together and we were able to work on a camping project for all of us. Now, this comes to number 2 with the teamwork. I was able to work with 2 wonderful women and learn so much about them. And there was a huge part with teamwork is you need trust. You need to be able to trust that this person and this person have everything what you're trying to do and that you are also trying to support them. And it also helped with communication. There's many times when I think I'm a good communicator, not always on this Zoom format, but in person. And so when it came to the communication point, there was a few times when Jill was like, hey, we should do this. And it was just like a little push in the right direction, which really helped me to get a few other things done. And so then you guys got to see some videos from me, some posters, some things that I've never done before, and trying new things, which is really what it's all about. It's all about growth. It's all about working with each other. And we were all able to reach our goals. So when it came to having a successful hybrid experience, truly, it was successful. We had a great time. We had an awesome experience. We were able to laugh and learn and see so many different things happening. And the other part that came out of it was we were able to see that people really need people. Now, I would never come back from this Zoom because I would not know half of you. But it was nice just getting to see a few people because we were able to learn a lot of things. And I guess this is where I want to come down to a few things that are really important. So it did not turn out perfectly. There was nothing perfect about what we did, but it was an experience. It was an experience for everybody, and we all got to learn something new. The tech was kind of crazy. We realized the wind came in, we had to pull in a trailer, we weren't sure on the weather. And so we recognized that probably in the future, we're going to want to bring headphones if we ever do an activity like that. And it was the learning. It's all about learning. We had support from our members. People came from the Zoom format and spoke, and we had a really cool opportunity with that. But we also had people just drive out for the day and visit. Now, there were some things that were a little different, where a few of us thought there'd be more people camping, and you could look at that as a negative. But the really awesome part was I was able to get to know Joelle and her family a lot better, and Jill and her family a lot better. And I think for them, me, and then everyone who came out on Saturday, they got to meet my family, which was something that we hadn't had as an opportunity before. We were able to laugh. We were able to laugh a bunch. There was a point where literally, because of the tech problems, all of a sudden it was like, where'd Dana go? Where is she? Oh, there, I jumped on a misty screen, and all of a sudden I'm back again. And I'm able to do my table topics and be like, hey, you're up next, and able to have the 2 minutes and jump on and get onto my phone and be like, what's happening? And I was able to get it all done. But I think the most important piece that came from that is we were able to experience humor, but we were able to recognize that we do not know everyone's story. I didn't realize from the Zoom format, there was lots of things that people are going through. And I learned a lot about people just because I was there in person with them. And I think that's an important thing for maybe all of us to take in the next 6 months, the next year, to recognize that every single one of us have different things going on. Every single one of us have trials. Every single one of us have awesome things going on. And we don't always get to see it from this Zoom format or just hearing a 5 to 7 minute speech from them. So remember to reach out. So whether you're a mentor or somebody else, maybe just ask questions and not necessarily just about Toastmasters. So going back to that energy part, I felt so grateful to be able to walk up to people and literally people who I've never seen or maybe met briefly and embrace them and love them, hear them laugh, hear them have a great time. And our meeting went quite fluid. People gave us really positive feedback, even if they were skeptical. And I was so grateful to meet so many wonderful people. Personally, I want to try something different today and speak more from my heart and more without words, on my, where I can read from things. And so it might be a little jibber jabbered a little bit, but this is my true Dana personality. People always say I'm funnier and more down to earth in person. So here I am, this is me. Thanks for being on this adventure.